So I just thought I'd come out in the woods today to discuss the trained assassin that I am. I'm a trained assassin, apparently. I didn't know that until this week. But I guess when you, I don't know, live in the Midwest, that there's an assassin school that everybody goes to. The reason I bring this up is when the guy who shot that that political pundit, everybody, all the news stations started talking about trained assassin. He had to be a trained assassin. And I watched one news program, and they said, you know, they brought in a retired FBI agent. And sure enough, trained assassin. Had to be a trained assassin. Nobody can make a 200-yard shot. That's just an impossible shot. So, yeah, yesterday's video, I was talking about fearmongering. And then I was talking about YouTubers. This is the end of the world. We got a Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the World War III. And don't forget about War of the Worlds. So they do it all the time, and it's just absolutely amazing to me. So anyway, when that FBI agent come on, I thought, man, I can't believe we pay federal workers with this kind of stupidity. So they're out looking for a trained assassin, according to this retired FBI agent. That's what they're out looking for on a college campus. Now let me think about this. A trained assassin. So, you know, a few hours later, they found the rifle laying in the woods with, you know, a trail of footprints and elbow prints and just, what? Converse sneakers prints. Well, he's not a very good trained assassin. I mean, my dog does better than that in the woods. So, I don't know. It's just really, it was crazy to me that they were saying this was a trained assassin. So, turned out it was a guy, 22 years old, from Utah, that liked to dress up in dresses. Well, I don't know, trained assassin. You know, when I think of trained assassin, I think of ninjas and, I don't know, 007. And you get these pictures of a trained assassin, but apparently what a trained assassin is anybody that deer hunts. I mean, that's what it has to be. I mean, I can make a 200-yard shot. Heck, the ranges around here easily have 100 yards. I mean, we have conservation areas that have shooting ranges, and they always set them up at 100 yards. And all you got to do is walk backwards 100 yards, and you got a 200-yard shot. So I don't really understand this. Well, it had to be a trained assassin. He shot him right in the neck. That's what they said in the news, the FBI agent. Okay. So, turns out the weapon was a 30-06, which is easily does 200 yards, easily. So, if you look at a 30-06 at 200 yards, it has a 5-inch drop. So, if you have not scoped in correctly, even if you scoped in, let's say, 100 yards, which is pretty standard, and you didn't compensate for that drop, so you're out at 200 yards, which, you know, a 22-year-old kid that likes to dress up in dresses probably didn't compensate for it. He figured the rifle was sighted in. He wasn't really sure. I mean, I'm sure he didn't have a rangefinder trying to figure out how far the distance was. So he probably centered in with his scope right on the nose. So, you know, this would be 5 inches. I'm pretty sure, you know, your full face. So if you centered in at the nose, you know, you drop 2-3 inches, it would hit you in the neck. And if the victim would have come back just a little, you know, as the shot was being taken, that would have even given it a little bit more drop. So I just find it interesting that these trained FBI agents, or at least this one, was suggesting that this was a trained assassin without any evidence, just because the shot was 200 yards. Like I said, here in Missouri, 200-yard shot is pretty standard. When I bow hunt, or when I used to bow hunt, I would tried to find an area of at least 50 yards. So 50 yards, 100 yards for my Henry rifle. I used to have a 357 Henry rifle. It got burned up in the fire. And you know, that's a pistol round, revolver round, 357 Magnum, and chambered in a rifle. And I would go 100 yards with that without a scope. I didn't have a scope on that. And the last year that we lived in a house before we traveled, I got a deer with that at probably 75 yards without a scope. So, you know, I'm feeling pretty good that I'm a ninja. I'm a trained assassin. I mean, there was just no planning. And they're talking about how advanced planning this would have taken. And, you know, it's taken days to plan this out. You're going to find multiple people had planned this out. I don't know why it is we have to have so much fear. The same thing happened when the president was shot in the ear. FBI agents came out. This was a trained assassin. You know, this guy got past the Secret Service and the police and you know, the thousands of people. And within a few hours, they were showing footage of bystanders taking photos of the guy up on the rooftop screaming, "There's somebody on the roof! There's somebody on the roof!" You don't have to be a trained assassin when you have complete incompetence in law enforcement. So that's the problem, is we have FBI agents, trained assassins, believing that anybody can make a 200-yard shot with 30-06, which is designed to go out 200 yards. Look, trained assassins in the military, they use a 30-06, at least in the Gulf War. And I watched a documentary or something, I don't remember what it was, and they shot a enemy combatant at a mile. So what he had to do, and he missed the first shot, that's the thing. So what they did was they stuck the bullets in the sun. They were trying to warm them up. And they had a rangefinder guy, trying to, you know, and the wind and all that. And they shot once, and the combatants looked around, and the guy made a joke. Why do they always look around when there's bullets flying? Why don't they run? But that gave him an opportunity to take a second shot, and they got him. So that's a trained assassin. No, I would not want to shoot a mile. I just wouldn't. I'm trying to figure that out, and how many yards is that, and trying to find your dots on the scope. I mean, I'm sure I could do it eventually if I practice enough, but I'm not trained to do that. But at 200 yards, 30-06, I mean, that's, even if you didn't take in the 5-inch drop deer hunting, let's say you scoped it out at 100 yards, and there was a deer at 200 yards, so you got, you know, 2.5, 3-inch drop, you still would do significant damage in the rib cage area. The other thing is 30-06 is a deadly weapon, and the reason it is it goes supersonic. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I have heard, and there's been studies done on it, that when the bullet enters the body at supersonic speeds, that it causes some sort of reverberation or vibration throughout the body, and kind of shuts things down as it's just trying to explode the body. And that may have some validity to it. I remember when I shot a deer with that Henry rifle. I was coming down on it. Yeah, I was up in a tree, and I couldn't get a really good ribcage shot, so I took it right in the neck. Put it right in the neck, in the back. And it paralyzed that deer instantly. I mean, that deer dropped. But when I got down, it just exploded the other side. With the 357 Magnum, now it's 357 out of that Henry, was going supersonic. So, you know, some of that made me believe, yeah, sure, that might happen. So I don't quite understand how we can have law enforcement so incompetent. But when you look at the president's shooting, they completely missed the mark on that. You didn't have to be a trained assassin to get through everything. The police were there, and one cop crawled up on the roof, and the bad guy pointed the gun at the cop, so the cop jumped down. And instead of calling in, hey, we got a shooter on the roof, you know, they let him continue on doing what he was doing. And then you had the Secret Service being told, hey, there's a shooter on the roof, and all these bystanders saying there's a shooter on the roof. I mean, you didn't have to be a trained assassin. All you have to be able to do is get a shot off. And the thing is he missed by a millimeter, and it's because the president turned his head. But again, just a young kid who took some target practices before he showed up. I mean, it's my understanding he went to the range right before he went to the field to do it. And then you had that other guy at a golf course in Florida, and he was all set up, ready to shoot. I mean, trained assassin. Oh, he's got to be a trained assassin. No, he was just some moron. I mean, he is literally a moron. And so the Secret Service shot at him and missed. So, again, incompetence in our police department, in our law enforcement. But the key factor to what I'm trying to say is if, well, two things, I guess. One, don't listen to the fear. I said that yesterday. Don't listen to the fear. They're just trying to scare you for clicks and, I don't know, stir things up. I mean, think about it. A situation in which a very popular political pundit is shot. You want to tone down the rhetoric. You just want to tone it down. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, both sides stirred it up. You know, the right side of the news media, trained assassins. There's trained assassins out there to get all the conservatives. That's just it. And then you had the left literally saying that the pundit did it to himself. So stirring up the rhetoric, trying to get one side to stir up the other side. I mean, it's just, so I don't understand why the media is trying to start a conflict. Now, civil war is coming. That's just the way it's going to be. It's a civil war. You know, my dad pointed out, there's not going to be a civil war. There's going to be a significant conflict. That's what he said. There'll be a conflict, but it's not a civil war. The Civil War was two governments deciding to do a conflict. You had the South and the North governments deciding to do something. The South elected their own president. I forget his name. I want to say Madison, but I don't think it was. Anyway, I don't think that's what it was. Boy, get old, I forget all the good stuff. I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes. So, it could be a significant conflict. I don't think this president is going to allow for anything organized to develop. I don't think he's going to allow it. He's not big into conflicts. He doesn't like wars. I know somebody's going to say, "Oh my goodness, he's trying to start wars all over the place," but I just don't think he's going to do it. He doesn't like people getting hurt. So, you know, he sent the National Guard out in Washington, D.C., and he ended the crime rate of people he supposedly doesn't like. That's what I'm told. The people that he's protecting with the National Guard, he doesn't like. So I can't imagine that he's going to allow two groups of people to come together and start shooting at each other. I just don't believe it. I think if that were to happen, he would squash it with the National Guard, just like he's squashing crime in Washington, D.C. So this fearmonger, I mean, you just got to think for a second. Just think that what they're saying can't be true. All you got to do is put some critical thinking in place. Stop with the fear. Don't be afraid. I said this yesterday, you know, we minimalize our lives so we don't have to be afraid. Look, I'm not saying things can't go wrong. It can't. But we don't need to necessarily just jump to the conclusion that things are going to go wrong, so we're just constantly on the edge of our seat. Gotta be prepared. Hey, I don't have a problem being prepared. I'm prepared, but I don't live on the edge of my seat every day. I'm not like hoping and praying for the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and World War III, and the War of the Worlds. The Martians are coming. Guarantee. I just would rather live in peace, do my best to stay out of conflicts, and if something finds its way to me, then I'll be prepared, but I don't need to go out looking for it. I don't need to go out looking for fear. I don't need to go out looking for the end of the world, the United States. You know, somebody said to me a while back that this is the worst time in history to be alive in politics. You know, we had a president that was convicted and charged with all kinds of crimes and everything. And I said, no, how can that be? We had a president who had a vice president. Congress trumped up charges, IRS charges, on the vice president, got him out of office, implanted their own vice president Ford, then went after the president, President Nixon, went after him on, you know, if he had been tried, impeached and tried, they would have found him innocent, but he resigned. So he resigned, so Ford took office. So Ford was the only president ever in the history of the United States that was not elected into office. How is this worse? Yeah, I mean, it's bad, don't get me wrong, but it's not worse. People forget history. We're supposed to teach history so we don't repeat it. Well, we repeat it all the time because nobody remembers. No, the 60s were pretty bad. The 70s were pretty bad. I mean, I was really young, and I remember the stories and of the gas stations, and you know, you had to have a certain license plate number or something to get gas. It was like, that was bad. Oh no, this is the worst economy we've ever had. Are you serious? We had a Great Depression. Come on, that's simple history. So if you'll click this up next box to take the video over to my other channel, I'd appreciate it if you go check it out. So if I can inspire you, stop being afraid. So you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.